The washroom, we're going to throw a piece of tissue inside and we're going to press the black button to flush. So the flush opens with water and it goes down. The washroom must be given at least 65 seconds from the time it's turned on before it can be used. So the washroom also has a sink for washing water. That's a dustbin which must be emptied and cleaned regularly. That's a soap dispenser, and there's a mirror. Up here there's a light and a PIR infrared motion sensor, which the washroom uses to know when it's occupied. So if we leave the washroom and we close the door, and the door must be closed firmly for the sensor to detect, and we give it 30 seconds for the fan inside to run to vent out the air inside and bring in fresh air so that the washroom doesn't smell. So we'll just give it some time. The washroom also has an automatic flushing feature, which we will hear when it shows the unoccupied sign. There we go, it's unoccupied. We should hear the automatic flush soon. When the washroom is occupied and the user doesn't flush it, it will automatically flush after the 30 seconds that it uses for removing air. The feature can be turned off, but we chose to leave it on. So if someone doesn't flush the washroom, it will flush it automatically. Now we're going to give the washroom some time to show that it's unoccupied. It takes about 30 seconds and runs the fan and the light inside. There we go. We heard the sound of it automatically flushing, and now we can open it. Now the sign will say occupied again because the motion sensor detected that the door has been opened. Now that we have demonstrated the flush working and the sink, we're going to open this and show you how to maintain the washroom. So this key has been provided with the two keys that serve the washroom door. So this door has two keys that look like this. They're by West alloy. And this key for these two compartments. So this is the maintenance compartment. Over here you can see a single motor, a water pump, which pumps water to both the toilet and the sink. And over here you see the control panel, and this is important because through here you can empty the wastewater tank, which should be done regularly. And yeah, we're going to demonstrate it now. But first we'll just mention that there's a pump control button. So if in any case to turn the pump off, we can turn it off from here, and now the pump will not pump any water. But if we turn it back on, the pump has water to build pressure. Right, now we're going to demonstrate the evacuate button for sewage tank and the exhaust button for the freshwater tank. First we have to press this button, which will open up a valve on the wastewater tank to let all the wastewater out. And then we can exhaust the wastewater tank with the fresh water to clean it up again by pressing this switch. We're going to demonstrate that now. Also inside this cabinet you will find a few valves that control the pressure to the flush system, and you will find a fan here. This is a blower that takes air from inside the washroom out to the exterior of the bus. And these valves carry pressure from the bus to power the flush valve and the wastewater tank valve. Those valves are controlled by pressure, and the pressure must be built up in the bus and allow 65 seconds from the time the bus is turned on and the washroom is turned on to let all the pressure collect and build up. If 65 seconds are not given, then the flush may not work. Now we can open the rear storage compartment. This is on the passenger side, the platform side. This compartment opens upwards, and has a support. So in this compartment you will find the wastewater tank for the toilet, the freshwater tank for the toilet, and the solar panel control system and the solar panel battery. And behind here is the large freshwater tank. So complementing the small freshwater tank, there's a large one here. On the opposite side, in the rear driver's side compartment, we'll find the freshwater tank inlet. This is for the large 600-liter freshwater tank on the rear of the bus. Over here we can see the pump that powers and sends water to the water sink for the kitchenette. And we'll see the sink wastewater tank here. So the large freshwater tank has a valve going to the small freshwater tank, which is on the other side, and there's a light inside to provide light at night. And to fill the freshwater tank, we have this large inlet. It's very similar to a fuel tank inlet, and should be opened to fill up the water. Also provided is, so you can open this water inlet to fill in the freshwater tank, which should be done routinely, and you can check the level of the freshwater tank from this transparent pipe installed on the left side of the tank near the pump. As we can see, the water level right now is about 3/4 way full, so it's at a good level right now. To empty the sink wastewater tank, there's a ball valve at the bottom directly underneath the tank, which can be opened to empty the wastewater tank. Also located on the passenger side rear compartment is the waste air vent from the washroom. So one is coming from the waste tank and the other one is coming from inside the toilet, the washroom, and they're just pushing air out from the bottom of the bus, so the interior of the bus does not start smelling. And now I'm going to demonstrate the wastewater tank being emptied through this pipe. There's a pipe hanging down from the back of the bus, and when the bus is parked over an open sewage area or with a container for wastewater, we can open the wastewater tank and dispose of the waste, which should be done regularly and almost every 2 to 3 days to make sure it doesn't fill up. And over here we can see the smaller freshwater tank for the toilet. So the water from the large freshwater tank comes from this valve and this pipe to fill the freshwater tank, which then goes to the toilet and the water pump for the kitchenette. It is highly recommended to also turn off the washroom after use. So when the bus is not going to be used or occupied for some time, we can turn the washroom off. But first we'll wait for it to clear itself out so we can see that it's unoccupied. So give it a few seconds. There we go, it's unoccupied. And now we can go to the driver's side of the bus and turn the toilet off. This is so that the toilet does not drain the bus battery, because it does use the bus battery. So if the bus engine is not running and the toilet is being used, please remember to switch it off to avoid draining the bus battery. Setting it up as using the bus battery was unavoidable because the washroom uses 24 volt power supply, and nothing else in the bus uses 24 volt power supply apart from the lights, which are also powered by the bus engine and the bus battery. So yeah. Located near the driver steering wheel is the switch for the toilet. Remember to give the washroom at least 65 seconds to set itself up before using, otherwise you will not be able to flush. Now we're going to show you how to empty the wastewater tank. So I have someone recording a video from outside, and we need the key. So let's get the key. So using the key for the washroom maintenance area, we can open this door. We can go to this evacuate button for sewage tank, and we will press it on. So now by pressing it on, we'll hear pressure being released, and that means the valve is now open and the sewage tank is being evacuated, which means the valve is open and the sewage is coming out. So we can leave it on for some time, and then we can turn it back off, and we hear pressure being built up again, and then we can turn on the exhaust button for freshwater tank. We can turn on the exhaust button for freshwater tank. By turning that button on, the water will run through the toilet into the wastewater tank continuously until the button is switched off. The purpose of this is to fill the empty wastewater tank with water. And now once it's full with water, or enough water, we can turn the switch back off, and we can evacuate the sewage tank again. And now it has fresh water inside and should carry out any residue or dirt that was remaining inside the waste tank. Now we can give it some time and turn it back off. And the wastewater tank has been emptied now. We can close this compartment again. And we can leave the washroom. Remember to shut the door tightly, otherwise the sensor may not detect that it is unoccupied.